Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NEPA TV show. My name is NEPA TV, and I will be your host. And we are going to be watching game number 4 between Serral and ShoWTimE. If you have not seen those other 3 games, I highly recommend you check them out because, you know, those are pretty good too. So you could do that. Let's get down to it. To the top left, we have the blue Zerg, the infamous Serral. And then in the bottom right, it is the infamous ShoWTimE with capitals on his W and T and E and S. ShoWTimE, the red Protoss, and you know, it's a standard PvZ that we're gonna see right now. Interesting enough, ShoWTimE going for gas before anything at all. I don't even think. Okay, never mind. I'm silly. I just didn't see that gateway. You know, games are just so fast nowadays. My old man eyes can't keep up. Probe is out scouting, and you know, my prediction for this game is ShoWTimE, I feel like, is gonna go for the same build he's been doing, which is the Stargate with the Void Ray first and the Oracle. And Serral will probably go his same route of going Zerglings. I think Roaches and Ravagers are kind of his forte. That is what that seems like is his style, or maybe it's the meta, who even knows. Yeah. He also goes into Hydralisk once he sees the Stargate too, so we're kind of going back to that traditional Roach Hydralisk into the late game sort of game, you know, gameplay. And eventually there's a point where you get every single tech known to man on both sides, Zerg or Protoss in this case. And this is an interesting map. I don't know the names of these new maps, but I could tell you right now that this map doesn't seem like it's going to be super late game favored, because the bases, I've seen maps where there are many more bases, but if we take a look at the map right now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases for each side. It seems like, yeah, 6 bases. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't even know, man. We got a metabolic boost up here, and we got a queen. We have 1 guy in gas instead of the full pull of the 3 that I usually see. We also see a 3rd base going down for Serral at a pretty decent timing. And so Serral is right where he needs to be economically at this time. We actually see a Stalker coming out for ShoWTimE rather than those Adepts that we've seen. And it's going to try to take out the Overlord, but this is a pretty cool trick that I would say is pretty old now. But, you know, Overlord, if you hovered over a certain decal or high ground position, Stalker can't see it. Overlord can still see a bunch of stuff. But we actually do see Resonating Glaives, and it's actually hidden. What the heck? Oh my goodness. ShoWTimE is going for an aggressive play, super aggressive play with Resonating Glaives, which increases the attack speed of the Adepts, and he's going for proxy gateways. And these gateways will churn out units at a very fast pace, since it does have pylon power. Or it has a gateway, because you need a gateway in order to next to the pylon in order to have the fast warp speed. It didn't always used to be like that. So proxies tend to look really silly because you see a gateway that's being sent out and chrono boost on that. So we're not seeing Stargate at all. We're seeing something completely different, which is really refreshing to see. So ShoWTimE's really going to show us what's going on. He's got 5 Adepts. That is a scary looking force. Let's see what Serral has in defense. We have 3 Queens, and we have a couple we got 4 Lings. Honestly, at this point, he would need some kind of static defense as such as spine crawlers, and Serral does see these Adepts coming out, and he does see the warp in. So here comes the attack. I don't know if Serral has enough to stop this, but the Adepts are phasing in, and unfortunately Serral has to. Wow, he actually finishes it with the phase in and a complete surround, but ShoWTimE does have the high ground. Some Adepts are dying. The Queens are doing a decent defense, but the Adepts are phasing to the third base. No, they're going to stay in the main. They're going to try to do as much economic damage. We've got 3 drones down. 5 Queens are focus firing the Adepts for Serral, and this is kind of a tricky situation for Serral. But the phase out does happen, and Lings and Roaches actually trap some of the Adepts, and just a bunch of phasing and a bunch of micro. Unfortunately, as a Zerg player, like I said, Serral has to follow those phases because there's a chance that ShoWTimE will commit and let them go. But ShoWTimE's going to pull back, and Immortal's coming out. I think I forgot to mention this, but he does have a proxy robo, and that'll do some decent damage, especially versus these Roaches. And this is a very scary push coming out from ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is phasing in, tricking out Serral here. Definitely need, I don't know if static defense will do well versus these Immortals, but it might help. Honestly, at this point, it's all about ground forces. Just getting more Roaches and Lings to defend, and this base is pretty much gone. I wouldn't be surprised if Serral's going to sack this, which I think he is doing right now. In fact, actually, Serral smartly is going for a counterattack on the proxy. He does find it, and he could get a surround on this Immortal. He does. That is huge. That is a second Immortal that could have been doing more damage to those Roaches. Right now, ShoWTimE only has 1 Immortal. I don't think he's not churning any other Immortal because he does not have enough gas. So he's going to get a Warp Prism, and what he's going to do is, and I believe he's going to micro this Immortal with that Warp Prism, just like how Serral does with the Queens and the Overlords. We had see some Corrosive Biles. We got 1 Ravager, a second one's on the way, and the Adept count is actually going down slowly but surely. But the Lings actually go for the proxy again, right under ShoWTimE's nose. And Serral could take out the Robotics Bay. He does take out the Robotics Bay. And even though the Lings did die, that is huge for Serral because he can no longer make any Immortals. At this time, he only has this 1 Immortal to bank on. And I think ShoWTimE at this point is just going to try to attack. And Pylon is actually blocking the wall off for ShoWTimE at his base. And we do see a counter, and we actually see kind of a wraparound. The Adepts are phasing in. Will they commit? They do not. What they're doing is they're zoning out this force. This third base is not going to get canceled. Tons of patience from Serral. And smartly, Serral is fighting on creep. Has to follow the phasing again. And really back and forth at this point, but I feel like Serral is in a very good position, especially with that Robotic Space Knight. But we do see a Dark Shrine. You know what they say. I believe it's Day 9. He's the first one to say it. I could be wrong, but you know, went behind Dark Shrine, you know, so he's got to get that. And there's actually an Adept inside trapped here. Actually, I think he could get out, but and we do see a wraparound on that one Adept. More Adepts moving in. Adepts are phasing in over here. Will they commit? I don't think so. Just a bunch of zoning and a huge Roach count. We see about 21 Roaches right there. And where are the Ravagers? I think there are, yep, there's still 2 Ravagers and 3 Ravagers. There's one here. He is kind of out of position. Stalker does block this in time. Very nice stuff. And the Dark Shrine is down, so we could see some Dark Templars. Does Serral have detection? He does have a Spore in the main. He doesn't have a Spore in the natural though, so this could be really tricky for Serral. But he is getting a lair. It's halfway done. He's also getting a Baneling's Nest. I kind of like that versus the Adepts. Roaches are moving to the third base. Will ShoWTimE is attacking. Actually, okay, there we go. Some casualties for the Adepts. We have Lings in the countering there, and the DTs are moving to the natural base. We got a Spore here when the Queens are smartly wrapping. Oh, never mind, they're not. Okay, well, there's a Spore there. There's detection. The DTs didn't really do that much damage to 2 or 3 drones here. Zergling's going in for the Twilight here. And unfortunately, this attack from ShoWTimE with the Dark Templar was not that successful. It is keeping Serral on his toes. ShoWTimE is getting charged, so he's going to transition into some Zealots, grabbing a third base with an Immortal Adept defense over there. And at this point, ShoWTimE just needs to buy as much time in order for him to get back into this game, because he is not quite I mean, I feel like they're pretty economically even at this point, because it's just been back and forth aggression all the time. But if ShoWTimE secures this third base, this will be really nice to secure. We actually don't see a fourth base from ShoWTimE at this moment. I think he is afraid that it will get attacked. I feel like Serral will get a fourth base pretty soon here. He's just getting his bearings at this point after that. 18 lings, we got some banelings. He might actually go for some kind of aggressive play. So this will be really, really spicy. We got some sentries for ShoWTimE. This could definitely help with this huge force of roaches and lings, and subsequently the banelings. And centrifugal hooks is almost halfway done. Once that goes down, those adepts cannot get away, I'm sure. So got some Dark Templars here, morphing them into Archons, and we got a shield battery down. Don't see any cannons, surprisingly. I think ShoWTimE is pooling all of his resources into, I believe he's gonna do zealots. He does have one zealot, but he did get that charge ability. And Serral is going for the third base at the top. He is going in. Lots of got some nice force fields going down. It's actually stopping the banelings from coming through. This is actually really nice. Actually, those were really nice force fields, but we had a huge baneling count, and centrifugal hooks did just get complete. So we have them roly-polies moving in. Adepts doing a counterattack at the projected fourth base for Serral, and going for the natural, but there is a complete surround. And actually, Serral cancels one of the structures so in order to get a full surround on the adepts. That was incredible. I loved that. Force fields down for ShoWTimE, stopping the banelings from coming through. At this point, I feel like Serral just really needs to save those corrosives for those force fields. And the banelings go in, do a crap ton of damage. My goodness, the Archons are almost all gone. The shields are really down for this one, but the Archons are still in the fight. No focus fire, but there are some more lings. 16 lings in production coming down, and this is probably game at this point for ShoWTimE. And that's game. And I want to appreciate everyone for watching this series. I do understand that this was... I'm a little behind the curve, I guess, because I guess this was a semifinals from 2 weeks ago and it was already commentated. I will be honest, all I did was see the replays on, I think it was SC2 replays or spawningpool.com, and I just saw 4 games and it was between 2 players, and I didn't really care who I commentated. So apologies for the I guess the coincidence of being a little behind the curve, especially for those that have watched this already. And what else? Oh yeah, I also want to apologize for the last game. At the end of game 3, I really did completely copycat tasteless with this GG thing at the end. So I'm trying to do something different so that I'm, not plagiarizing and being a copycat, because I did not see any honor in that. So I guess I've watched so much of Tasteless that I adapted that subconsciously. But anyways, I want to appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next series. Take it easy.